Welcome everyone. So today we're just going to do a bit of basic 4x4 recovery safety and stuff. The last couple of weeks there's been a couple of videos going around on our groups and Facebook and we got the guys talking, so we just figured it will be good to just brush up and make sure we do all these things safe and no one gets hurt. I'm no expert in the field. I'm not an instructor or a trainer, but I'm just going to share my personal knowledge, and then I've brought along Jan and Duncan. They're going to be assisting us today and share a bit of their knowledge of us as well. So first I'm going to just go through all the recovery gear I have here and then more or less explain what you can use it for. Here, these are just my recovery boards or traction boards. This you mainly use in mud or soft sand. The purpose for them were designed for soft sand, but you can use it wherever the need is. Sometimes even just to board a train if there's too big a hole, you can put it over and you can drive over it. It can also fall back as a base plate for a jack. So with soft sand you need to jack the car to change the wheel or get the bead back on the rim. You can put your jack on it, gives a nice firm base so the jack doesn't sink away in the sand. Spade. Every guy should have a spade in their bucket. I will say as a minimum requirement for any beginner, spade, kinetic strap, and some shackles. So you don't need all this stuff here, but all of it has a purpose in its place. So as a beginner, I'll say snatch strap, shackles, and a spade. And then from there you can build up.
Lawrence, can I add something on that spade?
Yeah?
You see on that spade, the one side is sharpened, so you can actually use it as a slasher to cut some branches.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it doubles as axe. Another thing that's important is a fire extinguisher. I've seen a lot of guys don't carry any of it. And in the winter time, if you're in the bush, if you park the wrong place, the exhaust of your car is hot, it can ignite the grass, and before you know it, your car is burnt down and then stuck in the middle of nowhere. And if all your food and whatever's in the car, that will be all gone as well. That's the worst case scenario. You never want to find yourself there. And always make sure it's easy accessible. And also make sure all the people in your car know where it is. Having that on the topic, another thing that's important, if anyone have allergies, like bee sting or anything, if you have your EpiPen, make sure someone is with you also know where it is. Like I know Jan has it, and when we went on the trip, I asked him where he keeps it, so I know if anything happens, I can go find it and we can help him. Some people think it's new technology, soft shackles. It's actually been around a long time. They actually use it on yachts and stuff a lot. So it's just designed to be lighter, safer, but you need to make sure when you use these that you have the right recovery point. Because some of the early day recovery points have sharp corners and can cut it. These have sleeves on it to protect it, but eventually you will wear through it. So you need to make sure that you have the right recovery points. Then you have the normal bow shackles, which they 4.5 ton, but they have safety factors and all sorts of. So to break this takes a lot. I've seen people using a D shackle. D shackle is not rated. This will break. Doesn't even have a rating on it to tell you how strong it is. So never use a D shackle. It's designed to have a line pull. When you do recoveries, it's never a straight line pull. So whenever you use a D shackle, when you tighten it on the car, you always go, but you don't lock it there, half a turn back. Because once it's under load, and you've tightened it, you more than likely won't get it off again. Two-way radios, also very important. In a recovery situation, that the cars can keep in communication. Because you can't always see one another, and so it helps. And then normally, this is where a lot of people make a mistake as well. Everyone jumps into help. Everyone wants help, it's just human nature, but it brings a lot of danger. So you have to make sure who's the guy in control of the recovery. If one guy in control of the recovery helps set it up, then you have the two cars that will do the recovery, and there must be communication between those three, and that's it. There should not be more people involved. And then as always, then everyone must, those guys must make sure everyone else have a safe distance away. It's actually a rule of thumb. Whenever there's a recovery, safe distance is about 30 meters away. And never be in the line of the pull. Because if that shackle breaks and it shoots past the car, if you're behind the car, it will still get you there, even if it's past 30 meters. So you're never in the line of the pull, of the recovery, always to the side, as far as possible. Probably one of the most important things in a recovery. Always use your gloves. Oh yeah, they won't fit you. This is very important. A lot of the times when you get in a recovery situation, it's a panic. You rush, you do things. That's also the first mistake. You must calm down. Get out of the car if you need to. Assess the problem first. Talk about it. If you feel uncomfortable, talk about it. Some people might have a better idea, because sometimes the first thought that comes up is not always the right one. Once you've assessed it and you decide how you're going to recover, make sure you have your gloves on. Because while you're busy hooking up to do the recovery, you don't want to end up cutting yourself. And now you have to stop the recovery again to attend to your cut, first aid or whatever. And if the recovery is in a dangerous situation, then you don't always have time on your side. So you don't want to make mistakes by forgetting to use a glove to rush to help someone, and then there's bigger problems. So there, if you guys notice, it's just the winch block. So this is if you need to do a directional line pull, or if you need to double it up, just because this is quite a heavy thing. So if you do a double up pull, you need to make sure when you secure this is safe on the tree, and never forget to have your bonnet open. The bonnet is open to protect you. Should it snap, because depending on where it's fixed at the bottom, it will come up, and it more than likely can go through the windshield. Seen videos of that, it's not nice. Line dampeners. This should be used on snatching and winching, not just winching, because the snatch strap can also snap and it can hurt someone. I prefer to put these always closer to the heavy point. So I'll put one close to the bow shackle by the tree, for example, and then you should dampen it. So you should try and put sand in it or whatever. The purpose of this is, if that line snaps, is to drop the loads. So the first impact is on the ground and it stops most of the energy. So once it goes up from there, if it does have to hit someone, you won't get hurt so badly. These are the kinetic ropes. They're very nice. The advantage of this to the strap is the strap you can only actually use once, and you should rest it for about 24 hours. Where with the rope, you can use it all day. So I don't know if they really have a limit, but yeah, you can use them all day. They don't have to rest. Just always need to make sure after using all your stuff, you need to clean it. You'll see this one is a bit dirty. We used it yesterday. Dean got himself in a sticky situation.
No problem.
So he should actually clean it for me, because he didn't bring his own one. But yeah, you need to make sure when you clean this, you don't use soap. You rinse it out with water, and then you let it dry in the shade. You never let it dry in the sun. And as Duncan mentioned that earlier to me, you also make sure when you let it dry that you roll it out in a straight line. So as it dries, it can get, the elastic can come back. Another part of your recovery is the air compressor to pump up tires or whatever. You never know when you're going to be up there. Hit a rock, DB the tire. Now you need to fix it there. Sometimes it's easier, if you can, to just pump up the wheel again and keep on going, than on a dangerous slope to try and change the tire. Because now you have to first secure the car, make sure when your jacket is not going to roll back. It's very dangerous when you do or change the wheel like that on a slope, because you can't always move the car back to a level piece of ground, and then you risk the damage of a tire and stuff. This is an air jack. Now this is nice. It helps you if you get yourself stuck on some rocky areas and you can't always do a snatch or a winch pull, because it sometimes won't be recommended, because if you have a rock like this and your dump is stuck against it, you're going to cause more damage to try and get that car off that. then that's where the jack comes in. You can put an air jack in, you can lift the car, you can pack rockets on the wheel, and the car can more than likely just drive out of the situation. So it's a very nice thing to have.
Ja, hy het nie op my exhaust gepas nie.
Yeah, that's the only thing. If you ever get one of these, make sure that the adapter of it can fit on your exhaust. Well, I've tried to leave some things out of here on purpose. See if you guys can spot the obvious. So what do you think I've left out here?
First aid
Pick me.
Okay, well, the first aid kit was one. And also, same as the medicine and stuff, always make sure the people in your car know where it is. Jan, what did I miss? But you know.
Maybe for tire repairs, I don't know, like repair kits.
That's, yeah.
Dit het hy vergeet.
Ek het dit vergeet. But yeah, tire repair kit is nice.
Okay, who's got a tire repair kit here at the moment?
I do
Sort of.
I can go and get one.
Okay, there's two types of tire repair kits. My speak?
Yeah?
There's two types of tire repair kits. You get good quality, and then you get the ones that you buy at Midas, or you buy one at wherever outdoor warehouse. You get the plastic handle. Guys, I've had it when I've given training, when I've been on long trips, long hauls, but I mean long hauls right up to Angola, Mozambique, Malawi. You tend to pick up tire problems. This is the only one you should use. The other one, you come. If you don't know how to repair a tire on a car, we'll show you how to do it. To put the, where's that one there, please?
Oh.
The reamer in, you need a lot of pressure. People tend to take their plastic one, push it in, and I've had it where the bottom piece comes up, out through the plastic, went straight into a person's hand. Thank heavens we weren't far away to actually hit a vein. On the sat phone, contacted, got the guy evac because it was serious. He had to have surgery. Please guys, use one of these. Even better, if you've got a little battery operated drill, take the same thickness as this, keep it in your car, make sure she's charged with the solar panel. Take a drill it through the beading of the tire, the wires. Then you just ream it a bit and put it through. Saves you a lot of problems. This is very. Please don't buy the plastic ones.
Well, that's not the only thing I left out. I also left out the jack. I have a high lift as well, but I find it very dangerous. I don't like using it, so I didn't even bring mine. But it has its purpose as well. So it's always maybe worthwhile in a group whenever you go out, if one guy at least has a high lift. Because you never know when you'll need it and you can use it. But it is a very dangerous recovery tool. Then also your normal car jack. I didn't put my bottle jack in. But that's also a very, sometimes you might not have the air jack. Then you'll have to use your bottle jack. Jack the car. But a lot of people forget, you modify your car, you have a lift on it, then your normal factory jack doesn't work anymore. If you're in the bush and you have to jack the car, you'll be lucky if you get a wheel off the ground. And I've seen from experience in the bush, even if you know it works on a level ground, the moment the obstacle you articulate it, then you can't get the wheel up. You need to try and change the wheel or whatever you need to do.
Check it, everything is there. We had a Land Rover that got a puncture last weekend, and the guy didn't have his arm to even use his bottle jack. So yeah,
That's what I want to say. Do you guys know where your Wild Track jack is?
Yeah.
Have you jacked your Wild Track up with that jack?
Honestly, like what Lawrence is saying, I put a lift kit on my bucket. Now I'm just thinking, shit. Why don't you have a working jack there?
I'll give you a good scenario. Brand new Ford Bucky, giving training at Kingwini. Brand new. I think it had not even 200 Ks on it. Got a puncture. Said to the guy, well, jack your car up and we'll... That jack couldn't lift that Wild Track up.
What?
From the factory.
Jeez.
Carry blocks of wood with you. make sure that you know where your jack is and make sure that the jack works.
Yeah.
We've had it where guy comes to jack his jack up, doesn't work. You can put anything into theory, as I explained earlier. Get into practice, it's a totally different scenario. What counts against you is time, safety, and most of all, prevent damage. That's it.
Oh,
Thanks.
so, anyone has any questions? Or?
Kan ek iets sê?
Ja.
We gaan Afrikaans.
Yes, right.
Ek werk baie op Engel.
Ja.
En safety is mos maar Engels nou ek wil net iets noem oor al hierdie recovery materiaal wat hier sit. Eintlik elke item wat hier sit is 'n safety hazard.
Ja.
En die enigste ding wat hom veilig maak dat hy nie 'n hazard is nie, is jy as persoon.
Presies.
Dis al wat.
Yes. Yeah, perfect.
Dis 'n baie goeie punt.
Yeah. Next to one other thing that a lot of people also do. The tow hinge. It's not a recovery point. It's for towing. It is designed for a point load. That's why I've talked to the caravan guys and stuff. They will tell you how to pack and balance your caravan. Because you also can't overload that point. That point load is designed for 180 kilos. Now you're going to put a pull load on it to snatch. And it will snap off. Okay, so I think from here, we can move over there. We've set up a scenario. We're going to show you guys what happens when something goes wrong.
But Toyota stuck again.
Can I just add a small 2 cents?
Yeah, that's what we are.
A lot of guys will have a recovery kit, but they don't all have that line dampener.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of the time, what you can do is the bag that you have, the recovery kit, you can fill that with sand.
Excellent point. You
Or
can use
Otherwise, you have your luggage bag, your
Yes.
clothing bag. Just
Your
to
jacket.
Have that line, any kind of soft, weighty item.
your jacket, and if you're lucky, I don't have the tree trunk protectors up at the top there. You can even use that. You twirl it around the strap.
Yes.
That also gives the weight. So if it snaps,
from your car as well.
yeah. So if you don't have those, you can always make a plan. It's always best to weight it with something.
Of iemand wat jy nie like.
Jy was goed.
In terms of a winch, what is better to have on the winch? That what do you call it? I don't know if it's nylon or something.
Oh, that synthetic rope or the cable.
Yes.
I'm in two minds about it. I like the cable because depending if we're recovering and winching, if there's rocks and stuff, if the cable goes on there, it will last a lot longer than what the rope will last. The rope will get faded and damaged. Both of them we have to maintain. The rope is lighter, so if it breaks, the risk of getting badly hurt is less. But depending if there's heavy objects on it, it's still very dangerous.
I think that can become a long debate.
Yeah,
Because they've got
it's-
pros and cons.
A preference.
Yeah.
But
It's
if-
personal
I
preference.
like the rope, he likes the cable.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it comes also to a weight thing sometimes. Some guys pack for touring and their car's very overweight. So then you start looking at all these lighter recovery stuff because then you save a lot of weight. Because all these bow shackles and the winch block, they're extremely heavy. I mean that bag, if it's all packed, just my one is probably close to 20 kilos. So there's a lot of weight you're carrying around. But if you have this, and not to mention even like the cable, that's like another 10, 15 kilos just on the cable. Where the rope is probably not even 2 kilos.
Put it
So,
in my bucket if you want, I'll carry it for you.
but it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, if you like, I'm semi set up for overlanding and playing, so I'm always sort of weight conscious. I don't want to put too much stuff in my car. That's why I don't even have a fridge slide, because that on its own is like 40 kilos. So if you want to have a mix of both, eh?
Jy moet nie so stingy wees met die petrol.
They can all like yours cold. They can
Not stingy of the petrol. I've seen the differences when you play on a track where a light car makes all the difference. If you're very heavily loaded and you want to play, it makes it difficult. And to touch on another thing is, everyone should always have water in their car. Should at least have 5 liters per person for like a day. Just as a minimum, because if you get stuck in the bush, then you need to survive off that storm.
So ek kan vir almal hier genoeg water.
Ja.
Die een vir 'n dag.
So carry on.
So brandewyn tel nie.
Nee. Kijk,
Asking for a friend.
4x4 and alcohol don't mix. They don't go well together.
Lawrence,
If you wanna
Some
ruin
people
your
can't
car,
get separated.
go and drink and go be silly.
Any question? Leon, I see you got a lot of questions. He's driving forward.
I'm still trying to think about my jack now.
And another thing
But you see, that's why these things are important. We need to just touch base and share knowledge with one another.
Listen, I just want to say something. I know it's not 100% here, but Jan, Lawrence, and Duncan, thanks, man. We really appreciate guys like that to share some experience. And when you go on tours and things like that, there's one insurance company I recommend. That's Cross Current.
Yeah.
Because if you're in Africa and you got an accident and you must be hospitalized, they fly you back to South Africa. If you can continue and your car breaks down and something happened, they replace your car so you can continue your journey. Things like that is things that counts for me as a person. It's the same as recovery equipment. That little D-shackle that Lawrence showed, all of us think that on one stage you're boffin to have a shackle in your car. You've got a bullet in your car, not a shackle.
Oh.
So if you don't use the right shackle, you once to been fly down. Make sure you got insurance like cross country or one of those things that will fly down.
But Johnny touched base on a good point there. A lot of us go in the bush and we go and play. When you come to these tracks, you sign an indemnity form. If you bump your car, the insurance is not going to pay. So you need to make sure you get the right insurance. Like cross country, I'm on cross country for that reason. So if I do bump my car in the bush here, they cover that. It comes with a nice feature. I have a tracker in the car with them. There's a little panic button. If I'm out in the bush and anything happens, I can press that button. They will send out help.
I'm going to show you now a weak point on that tree. I've tightened that. That's a snatch rope. So I tightened there with just a string of rope so that it breaks easy. I want to show you guys what happens if something breaks while you're snatching. So this is in a controlled environment. Lawrence, if you can maybe just move out. So what I'm planning to do is that small rope is breaking, and then when that rope is stretched, the shackle will come past. So just to show you guys how dangerous it is. Standing in the triangle of death, because it can break there. That winch block can come and hit us here. Safety blanket, we don't have enough safety blanket. So that's not, one should be there, one should be there. Let's just fix it up. You want to kom weer op. Maak het ons reg. Jy moet die hoofsteen.
So here we just simulated the wrong way of putting a tree trunk protector around a tree, and not to mention it's also not a tree trunk protector. So now we're just rectifying it.
Right, so we basically have to go to the
The
most
base.
bottom part of the base. But in this case, it will be
Yeah,
have to be here.
it will be there. Hold on, let's see. We'll let Etienne do this.
Alright, I'm feeling this is not too sharp, so soft shackle will work.
That is actually still too sharp for that. Yeah,
Is it too sharp?
yeah. But that's why that shackle has that sleeve on it. So you'll just position the sleeve that it's on that sharp edges. So Jan wants to know what he's still doing wrong here. That's-
Daai sleeve is nie reg nie, ja. Dit gaan oor veiligheid. Maar nou is kan hy slip.
Nou okay, die boom is nou.
Ja, dis wat ek maar bedoel. Dis maar net 'n punt wat ek noem. Hy moet gaan in 'n area waar hy nie mag op of af beweeg.
Yeah.
But what else do I do wrong?
Want hulle maak nie sulke groot handskoene.
Jan, can you stop what you're doing, please? You haven't put gloves on.
without any dampeners. We're going to do it again to show you the effect of a dampener. So it's going to be take 2. That is our weak point over there. Now we have the dampener on to demonstrate what a dampener does. This is all in a controlled environment, just to demonstrate. This is where the dampener stopped it. This time it only made it all the way to here. So the dampener did a good job. Earlier it went all the way here, past the trees actually stopped it. So, but call it car length, maybe 2. Big difference. Say, ek draai allemaal. We'll ask you to disconnect this, get to the vehicle for me.
Ja, die zware bakje. Vrou.
At least his recovery point is highlighted, so you'll see it. Because remember, the recovery points will always be on either side, because they will always run along with the chassis. And one thing we must never forget, recovery points need to be rated. You can't use tie-down points. Tie-down points is for shipping vehicles, it's not for recovery. Now Dean here does have proper recovery points. He's even been so nice that he's painted it some bright orange color.
Should I put it on right or left?
Oh, you're going to put it? Yeah, put it on that left hand side.
Do you get stuck a lot, Dean?
Not really.
Just so that the other ones weet the hoek.
I do recover Rubicons though, last out of Johnny's pit.
And guys, make sure that your recovery points are not welded on, they're bolted onto the chassis.
Now factory ones is normally welded on.
That's it. And he's just done it perfectly. He tied it, half turn back. Well done.
Daar's niks van sommer net nie, dis my bakkie die, nie jou Fortuner.
Kom aan die spotlights.
Ja.
So on this recovery, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dampener blanket on the inside, because we've only used one bow shackle here. On the Colts, they come out with a recovery point that you can hook it in from underneath. Sorry?
Always have to be recovered.
That's your story, wait till you hear ours.
But I wish more manufacturers actually do that. Where when you buy, especially if you buy a 4x4, that they sell them already with fitted, rated recovery points. You don't have to have this rope so slack. You need to only have like about a meter and a half. It's a kinetic strap. The strap will do the work. The moment you have to pull that like that and yank it, you are going to break something and damage something. The strap needs to do the work. So as it tightens up, it will stretch and it will pull the car out. Everyone thinks you're pulling it out of the car. The car is just a mass weight in the front. The strap does the work. But there's 2 methods when you put the strap down. You either do it like a little S-bend, or you can fold it on each other, or on itself.
Hy gaan my nie so hard snatch nie.
Huh?
Die fold is nog meer.
Alright.